It's been 3 years now since Overwatch 2 has come out, and in that time, we've seen Brig in and out of the meta, get her rally changed and get packs changed, and continue to watch other strong supports get added to the game. The big question I'm asking, is Brigitte still viable as a support in Overwatch 2? Brigitte was the OG DLC support that could do everything when she was released. She could 1v1 any hero with insane damage, 2 forms of crowd control, and high healing to keep up teams forever. Through that time, she was easily the best character ever created in a hero shooter. But over time, and especially since Overwatch 2's release, she's been reeled back more and more. And Brigitte in competitive play on mouse and keyboard in all tiers in NA is the least picked support, even lower than Alari and Lifeweaver. That comes from the lack of players choosing her in lower ranks mainly. So is that the answer? She's just incredibly unpopular and therefore bad? Can Brig even still heal enough to keep her team alive? Can she provide enough utility or damage to defend off enemies? Or are you better picking a different support character? Brig can work in most situations, of course, when dive is present. So far in Season 19, I've healed about 9.3k healing per 10, 4k damage per 10, my whip shot accuracy around 59%, and some of my damage mitigated stats are around 3.5 to 5.5 per 10 in the personal All Heroes game reports. Feel free to compare your own stats. Looking at other supports, this sort of puts her right down the middle when comparing healing and damage per 10. The healing isn't the lowest or the highest, but it's there, and the damage is comparable to other supports who can do damage. Middle of the pack sounds pretty bad, but it could be worse. Here's where stats don't come in. Brig is such a niche hero that her stats almost have nothing to do with how well she's performing in-game. The only thing that really matters is deaths. Brig's value in a game ultimately comes down to how much you can distract, disrupt, destroy the enemy. The rest of her kit's free value. She's not a heal bot, and she isn't a makeshift DPS who can heal. This helps greatly when playing against dive heroes like Wrecking Ball and Tracer. Did you boop away the ball? Did you shut down the Tracer's pulse bomb and dive? Sure, you may have done some damage on the board, but did you stop their engagement or play, which stats can't account for? That's why the answer if yes, is monumental here, because if you didn't shut them down, well then you're probably not doing much. So the kit. If you are playing optimally, and ideally in a good matchup, utilizing her kit can set you far. Repair packs got changed a while back to do burst healing, then healing over time. A really nice help for your flanking DPS and other support. Things that cause a lot of players to think Brig is an F tier pick comes from pack healing. Lots of starting Brig players will throw all 3 packs on their tank who's missing 20 HP. Well, no wonder you can't heal. You almost never should be throwing 3 packs. 1 and Inspire should heal someone to full, but 2 for sticky situations is needed. How you decide to use packs is how much healing you're able to provide. That's good game design. Rally also got changed. I remember when Rally used to be tanky, giving overhealth per second to yourself the way it does to allies now. It was a fine ultimate, but I can understand if it felt underwhelming since it didn't give armor like back in Overwatch 1. So after all this time now, is Rally still a useful ultimate? Well, ultimately, yes, I do think the new Rally has a skill expression that is better than old Rally, not only for the stun that it can provide, but also for restoring your shield health. I had a rough time adjusting to new Rally when it first came out because the playstyle was so different. Old Rally got more value over time, where the new Rally really only had value as soon as you push the button. It can now shut down much more enemy plays, which is big for Brig's kit. The only thing is, don't be fooled, you will not live long in this new Rally. You're not that tanky as you think you might be. 100 armor to yourself goes like that, and you fall straight over. It can provide small help, but use it to stop key things like Queen's Ultimate or Genji Blade, and then you can easily carry your team. Overall, her kit can keep up with other supports in most situations. Whip Shot is still such a good ability, and if you can get 70% accuracy by the end of the game, you won't lose. Perks are also really helping out Brig and also many other characters by making decisions in-game based on the situation and buffing up some weaknesses. Brig's minor perks are rather lackluster. I love the perks that make you change how you play the game, like Lifeweaver's minor perk that gives more healing after using Rejuvenating Dash. That's a decision you get to make in-game that amplifies what you're doing every match. I'm often choosing the Whip Shot Duration Inspire perk, as I don't really find myself swinging that much in order to get lots of value with reducing pack cooldowns. and I can heal more overall with good whip shot accuracy. But the major perk is money. That shield bash perk is so strong and really amazing for Brig. If you watch the Brig guide, you know that lots of bashes in Overwatch 2 are for movement. Well, firstly, the Shield Bash major perk, as of late 2025, not only gives 30% move speed on every bash, making you be able to run way faster, but it also provides an incentive to actually bash the enemy. Great game design. Now, don't be fooled, bashing away can provide safety too, but when you bash someone with this major perk, it burst heals yourself and allies for all of Inspire's 60 healing immediately. Burst healing is the second best utility a support can have besides damage. This can make you pretty tanky in situations where bashing away isn't necessary. I'm almost always choosing the Shield Bash major perk. These are really helping to keep Brig fresh and fun. So let me tell you some of the Brig perk ideas I have. A major perk around packs, maybe we give back the overheal, maybe only to 25, just overhealth, no armor, kinda could be fun for situations throwing out packs early. I also want to pick some shield health perk ideas, maybe something along the lines of you can pick this perk, it'll give you more shield health, maybe up to 300, but your whip shot, maybe your bash cooldowns are slightly longer. Maybe something along the lines of, after hitting a whip shot, you can gain 10% attack speed or something along those lines. Something that's going to change everything up the more you're playing. Something I thought could be really cool for really high decision making, don't know if this is too much, but you can actually use your packs as shield health. So let's say every time you consumed a pack, maybe you pressed R, it would add 50 HP to your shield. So you can kind of trade off healing people for having some shield health. That's like the pinnacle of having decisions in mid-game. Also, what have we thought about maybe Shield Bash now hindering enemies? But when you hinder an enemy with Shield Bash, it puts it on something like an 8-second cooldown instead of 5. Okay, let's move on. Here's what really kills things for me, and I'm sure a lot of players too. It's the community perception. Even in my high-ranked games where more people are picking Brig, she is still very rare, and I often can be told that Brig isn't good enough and that I should swap to Wu Yang or some other support. I'm sure this is definitely worse in metal ranks. Brig's healing can seem elusive through Inspire, and packs are hard to track. I wouldn't mind if the devs added an Inspire R account like Lucio's healing. I think it would add some knowledge of feeling valued, seeing I just activated Inspire for 4 players. You know that you may not need an extra pack. Plus in Stadium, when choosing the pack stacker or optimizer power, you can see how long a pack lasts on a player with in-world UI. I think that would be a great addition to Brig in the regular game to know when you actually need to throw a second pack, since the at least overtime healing doesn't stack. Voice chat can be tricky because your teammates could just be upset over a Brig pick. The community is still very perceptive to rank and always love to point a finger at someone else. Even if the community is not loving Brig, playing her in the right matchups is so necessary and worth it. Out of 450 hours on Brig, I have a 57% win rate with 300 more games won than lost. Don't listen to those other people. So let's really ask the question. We've seen that Brig can be good, but is it really worth it to pick her instead of some other supports, especially the newer ones? Well, yes. Overwatch supports have become much more diverse, so really now is the time that picking 2 or 3 characters really is necessary. One-tricking is sort of a thing of the past and can be due to a more diverse hero pool. So playing Brig in the right matchups is so strong. However, if things are going bad for you as Brig, then playing others is really helpful. I've been playing a lot of Lifeweaver and Wu Yang lately when there's less dive. The thing I love most about Brig now is skill equals output. Highly skilled players really can carry a match, while you can't get value on her for free. Even though her kit may seem quote-unquote easy, you don't win with how well you can aim, you win with how well you can decide your next move. Meaning the skill ceiling is very high, and this is why most high-ranked players are picking her. Specialists that love the character learn and carry to the highest ranks, while everyone else gets thinned out after not knowing how to play her properly when it's easy to just point and shoot on someone else. I also quickly want to talk about Stadium for those interested in how Brig feels in there too. I think Brig has been exceptional in Stadium. Sometimes characters can feel like they only have one good build, like Juno, but Brig really has 5 builds that I've been using great for different situations. Not only is the creation of these builds fun, but it's also how they interact, especially with Brig's counters. You know, playing Brig against Zarya, Ashe, Pharah can be annoying, but you can still do a lot by building into Tank Brig with big shield and whip shot powers. You can really carry your team also with DPS and burn rally build. There's just a ton of things to flesh out. I think they've really hit the nail on the head with how Brig plays there. Now when Lifeweaver gets added to Stadium, they need to keep stealing my ideas from HSK Watch. We want a sleeping Lifeweaver tree power. So how are you finding Brig in the game nowadays? Are you just swapping to someone else, or are you distract, disrupt, destroying them?